creating a vSphere vApp. Hey, this is Greg Shields with CBT Nuggets, and you've maybe created a virtual machine or two, but you keep seeing this little thing called a vApp inside of your vSphere client. And you might be wondering why you would want to create a vSphere app when, well, you have virtual machines. In fact, a vApp is a very interesting way in which you can collect virtual machines together as what you think of as an application or as a service, so that when those virtual machines go about powering on and powering off, they do so in the right order, and so that they also have the right level of resources that are assigned to them for whatever task they need to accomplish. You'll see I have two virtual machines here, vApp Server 1 and vApp Server 2, and these two virtual machines are currently connected up to the host esx1.company.pri. If I right-click on that server and choose New vApp, I can give the vApp a name. I'll just call this My vApp. And as you can see, one of the things that you have to do, in fact, the only thing that you do at creation, is identify the CPU and memory resources that you want to tag for the specific vApp. Now, as you think about it, a vApp can be a series of computers that need to work together in order to complete or fulfill a common goal. Maybe one is a web server, one is a middle tier server, and one is a database server, or maybe they're a farm of web servers. And so consequently, you want to give them perhaps a reservation of a certain amount, or even a limit of a certain amount down here on the bottom as it relates to their CPU or memory resources. Now, I'm not going to make any changes here just yet, because what I want to show you first is how you create a vApp, how you then drag a couple of these individual virtual machines into the vApp by literally clicking and dragging. And then once you've accomplished that, what you do in terms of managing the vApp and the characteristics of the vApp itself. If I right-click, you can see that I'm going to go ahead and power on that vApp. And by powering on the app, what happens is the individual virtual machines get powered on. One of the reasons why we create these vApps is because, well, we want to set a specific start order for the different virtual machines as they may power on. So in the case, again, of a middle tier application or an end tier application, I might want my database to come on first, followed by my middleware, then followed lastly by my web services layer. Or I can just set them up so that they all power on at the same time and I don't really care. When I do set them up for being powered on in a certain order, I need to set a startup sequence, an amount of seconds that each virtual machine should wait before the next one actually continues with the startup process. Also here with the vApp, there are a couple of other interesting settings I can do in addition to just the resources. Down here under the IP allocation policy, I can set a specific series of IP addresses that may be used by the machines in this vApp. I do so down here under the advanced node by hitting the IP allocation button and turning on, for example, the DHCP or an OVF environment allocation scheme. When I do that and then specify IPv4 or IPv6 or both, well, that will allow me to set up what that allocation policy should be. So really, the vApp concept here gives you the ability to manage a collection of virtual machines as a single application with all the different settings that are associated with it. If you want to learn more about configuring ESXi and working with virtual machines and vApps, check out my CBT Nuggets series at cbtnuggets.com. But until then, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.